Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Years ago, when I was trying to heal from a traumatic brain injury, I had to do a lot of things differently. The old things were not working. Everything had crashed, and I needed to reboot. Turns out, though, you cannot erase habits, you have to replace them. And the joke in our house was mom counts reading as a hobby, but it really is not a hobby for her. It's a way of life. It really, really is. And back then, I couldn't read. I don't mean I couldn't sit and read. I meant I couldn't read. I had to pick up some um, new ways of being. And one of the things I understood was that we are we don't have a spirit. We are spirit living in a body. And to be well, it's the integration or reintegration of the spirit, mind, and body. We are spirit living in a body with a mind that helps us navigate the physical plane. And that mind has kind of taken over, especially in the Western world. Our mind rules the day. We think, and therefore we are. But we should be believing and seeing. And I know that that sounds like, whoa, I'm going to have to listen to this again. I'm going to have to say it again. Um, the our spirit, if we listened more to our spirit or we engaged our spirit more throughout the day, our physical well-being would respond. But what we do is we lead with our body or we lead with our mind, and those things are responding from what happened in the past. It's one of the reasons why I say all the time, clean your filter, because in that filter is everything that ever happened to you. And if you don't process that filter through love, through gratitude, then everything that comes up new will look like what happened before, which is why when somebody does something that triggers you, they didn't make you mad. That experience in the past that you've never processed gave you permission to be so. Anyway, during this time of healing, I started listening to books on tape, which I didn't want to do. My grandmother was blind. My mother at one point was losing her sight, and they listened to books on tape. And to me, listening to books on tape was what blind people or old people did. And I didn't want to go there. So I had to, because I missed books. And what I realized was I missed learning. So I started listening to books on tape, and whoa, that was a new, wonderful replacement habit, because now when I'm sewing and I can't use my hands or stop and focus on that book to read, I'm listening to a book at the same time. So I listened, and then I said one day, oh, I wonder if I read along. So I got the paper physical book to read along with the audio book. And I could do it 10-minute increments at a time, little by little. And then after a while, I could read, for probably a couple of hours and then would have to stop. So I found this documentary, because the other thing I did was watch loads of documentaries. That's when I really started loading up on them. Documentaries were a way of learning. It wasn't the book, it was the learning. It wasn't the reading so much, it was the learning. Even now, when people ask me, what is your greatest accomplishment? And I say, learning to read, because everything was based on that. So, and I didn't realize that when I say it, it was like saying, Frederick Douglass, what was your greatest accomplishment? Learning to read, because I could write my own free papers. Anyway, a friend recommended the documentary I Am. If you haven't seen it, please do. It's by Tom Shadyac, who makes all the Ace Ventura movies, except this is nothing like that. Tom had also suffered a head injury. And during the process of healing, he felt like he was going to die, which you do, and he wanted to leave something significant. And so the I Am documentary is the answer to the question, what's wrong with the world and what's right with the world? And the answer, of course, is I am. He interviews all kinds of amazing people and brilliant minds, and so I read something about every last one of them and found the book Heart Math. And they had a technique for helping you to move to your heart. And when I did that, the world opened up. And I learned new things I didn't know that were already there, that I had buried the treasures of knowledge around those things, like sewing. When I was a child, I would go downstairs in the library and look at all the microfilm and microfiche on anything that had to do with fashion. And I had stored all of that away. And it was during that head injury that all of those things, those pieces were there and they were found. But they were found from moving from my head to my heart. I've said a lot this morning. I hope to explore some of this with you. And this whole idea of that 13-inch journey to your heart, of seeing a little bit more clearly into who you are. You can't erase habits, but you can replace them. And self-care is not a vacation. It's a habit, something you have to do every day with spirit, mind, and body. I love you.